Sung Hee-sing is an energetic boy who died in early 2010. But his life suddenly takes a drastic turn as he wakes up one day on the roof of his school. He dreamt he went to a hotel called De Luna and he became the manager for 12 years. At this moment, he thought it was almost time for class. He hurriedly returned to the classroom, but he realized he didn't recognize anyone. Could it be that he entered the wrong class? At that moment, the teacher walked in. Seeing him in an old-style school uniform, he was surprised. This style was from 12 years ago. He thought he came to cause trouble on purpose. He prepared to call the security. The boy saw that things were not looking good. He ran out of the teaching building. He looked back. The date displayed was surprisingly 2017. Shouldn't it be 2005 now? How did I sleep for 12 years? What about my younger siblings at home? He rushed home all the way after pushing the door open. There wasn't the expected crowd greeting him warmly. Only empty tables in a strange environment remained. This left him very puzzled. He really wanted to find someone to clarify things. He happened to meet the owner of the house when he went out, but was mistaken by the owner as a thief. He quickly explained, but the homeowner didn't pay attention, kept shouting to send him to the police station. In his anxiety, he pushed with his hand and unexpectedly pushed the owner several meters away. He looked at his hands in astonishment. What on earth is going on? Coming back to his senses, he quickly went to help the homeowner, cleaning up the overturned table, but unexpectedly was knocked out by the owner with a stick. When he woke up, he was already in the hospital. A large wound was on his forehead, and a police officer was investigating next to him, asking his name and date of birth. The boy answered truthfully, "My name is Sung Hee-sing. My birthday is June 7, 1987. The police officer was very surprised when he heard this. Someone born in 1987 would now be 31 years old. Are you trying to play me? At this time, the nurse also bandaged the wound, telling the boy that he had 30 stitches on his forehead. Be careful not to get infected. Remember to get antibiotics later. Seeing that he wasn't telling the truth, the officer took him straight to the police station. Once again, they asked the boy for his name and date of birth. The boy was very helpless, saying he really wasn't lying. The police officer was very angry. If we find out it's false, then you'll be charged with trespassing and obstructing official duties, adding crime to crime. But upon checking, they found that the information was correct. But it showed that he was deceased. He was very puzzled. He prepared to report to his superiors. Meanwhile, Hae-sung went to the restroom to wash his face. He found that the wound on his forehead had already healed without any trace of stitches. This made him even more puzzled. What on earth happened to me? Just as he was about to leave the restroom, he met a police officer who was shocked by the identity on his school uniform. It was his childhood friend Hae-sung, but he had been dead for 12 years and the voice was exactly the same. He was stunned, remembering that today was the anniversary of Hae-sung's death. Could it be a ghost in front of him? At this moment, Hae-sung also noticed his name, recognizing him as his high school classmate, Ho Bang, and quickly started questioning him. He fainted on the spot. When he woke up again, the two were sitting in a noodle shop. Ho Bang looked at Hae-sung, who hadn't eaten noodles in 12 years and still couldn't believe what he was seeing. He tremblingly reached out to touch him and felt warmth, confirming that the person in front of him was real. At that moment, Hae-sung asked him, "How is my girlfriend Yeon-won doing?" Ho Bang didn't dare to look into his eyes and hesitated to say, "We haven't been in touch much in the past 12 years. I don't know how she's been." Hae-sung was very puzzled, wondering why their close-knit group from the past had become like this. At that moment, Ho Bang asked him, "Do you really not remember what happened that day?" Hae-sung recalled his memories of the previous day. As usual, he prepared breakfast, took care of his younger siblings, and went to school with Young-won. Because it was his birthday, he boldly asked Young-won for a kiss and got scolded for being a pervert. At school, he delivered food to his younger brother and found out he had been beaten. Hae-sung was very angry and went straight to the bully. They were separated by their classmates. It turned out the bully had just transferred to the school and had been provoking Sung multiple times because he heard Sung was a good fighter. But Hee-sing ignored him, so the bully used this dirty trick to beat up his younger brother. Hee-sing yelled out in anger that he would kill him, but was promptly pulled away by Ho Bang. Young-won also tried to persuade Hae-sung, "You were suspended in the second year of high school because of fighting. If you fight again, you'll be expelled. There's only half a year left until graduation. Just bear with it." Hae-sung responded, "He bullied my younger brother. I can't just let it go." Suddenly, Young-won stood up and said she was going to confront that bastard, pull out all his hair and kick him where it hurts to make sure he could never have descendants. At this point, Hee-sing also calmed down. He grabbed Young Won and promised he would endure it for her sake. That evening, Young Won went to Hee-sung's house to prepare a birthday surprise. Just then, Hae-sung called saying he was coming to see her. Young Won quickly lied that she left her wallet in the art class and asked Hee-sung to go back and get it. Hee-sung searched for a long time, but couldn't find the wallet. Just as he was about to go home, he was shocked by a scene on the ground. The bully he had fought with during the day was lying in a pool of blood. He checked and the bully was still alive, so he quickly rode his bicycle to call for an ambulance. As he was passing an intersection suddenly, at that moment, Hee-sung realized that he had died 12 years ago, which is why he still looked like his high school self. He grabbed Ho Bang in panic, asking questions. Unable to accept the reality, he shouted loudly to Vet, causing all the lights to go out. He asked Ho Bang how his family had been. Ho Bang said he hadn't been in touch much, but he knew his younger brother's work address. He brought Hee-sung to the destination. While waiting downstairs, they happened to meet Xiao Mei, a high school classmate. Xiao Mei saw Hee-sung, who was clearly dead, and fainted on the spot. Out of fear, Ho Bang hurriedly took him to change clothes so as not to scare more people. After disguising himself, Hee-sung came to find his brother. He just saw someone beating up another person. He couldn't understand how his brother, who was once a top student, had now become a gangster. Hee-sung went upstairs to find his brother. But there were too many offices. He didn't know which room his brother was in. At this moment, his ears suddenly became extremely sensitive and he could hear the sounds from each room. Even the sound of a phone call from tens of meters away could be heard very clearly. He then heard his brother's voice coming from one of the rooms. When he got to the door, he heard the gangsters asking his brother to get money from Yoon Won. His brother was being beaten for refusing. He rushed in to stop it. His brother took the chance to slip away, but didn't notice it was his brother who saved him. The long-haired guy saw this and wanted to chase after him, but was stopped by Hee-sung. He was about to make a move, but was directly pushed away several meters by Sung. The gangster boss saw his men being beaten, picked up a steel pipe, and planned to teach Hee-sung a lesson. But the result was the same. Hae-sung grabbed the gangster boss and asked where his brother was going. The boss quickly handed him a business card which had Young Wan's address on it. Hae-sung thought he had finally found Young Wan and took a bus to find her. At this moment, a strange old man suddenly stood next to him and asked him when he arrived. It shouldn't have been long, he thought. Hee-sung didn't understand what he meant and looked puzzled as the old man got off the bus. Then Hae-sung arrived at Young Wen's house and excitedly pressed the doorbell. Thinking he could finally see his beloved, he was both nervous and hopeful. But after the doorbell rang for a while, no one opened the door. He could only wait and waited until night. The gangster boss came with a group of underlings for revenge. And under the director's arrangement, Hee-sung didn't dare to use his superpowers to fight back and was knocked out. It started to rain heavily at midnight, and when Young Won came home, she saw someone lying on the ground. Upon closer inspection, she found out he looked exactly like her first love. She placed him on the sofa. She stared at the face that was both familiar and strange. Young Won reminisced about her high school days, the sweet times they spent together. The reason told her it was just a coincidence. Young Won made a call to the police. But as the call connected, she heard Young Won was so scared that she dropped her phone. Her other hand couldn't stop trembling. She hastily lied that she dialed the wrong number. She thought she must have heard wrong. But looking at the man in front of her who resembled Hae-sung, she couldn't help but recall 12 years ago, the scene at Hae-sung's funeral. She has always felt extremely guilty. If she hadn't asked Hae-sung to fetch her wallet, Hae-sung wouldn't have died. It was all her fault. The next morning, Young Won saw that he hadn't woken up. She left a note and departed. And the wound on Hae-sung's body was healing at a visibly rapid pace. Soon after he woke up, he saw Young Wan's photo on the fridge and felt very happy. At this moment, he realized he was in Young Wan's home. On the other side, Ho Bang found his high school classmates saying he had seen Sung. Everyone thought he was talking nonsense. Ho Bang pointed to Hee-sung's clothes for everyone to see, which still had his name tag on it. This was something he had personally taken off. Although he wasn't sure if the other party was a human or a ghost, he definitely existed in reality at this time. Young Won realized that the person she saved yesterday was indeed Hae-sung. She immediately found an excuse to leave. She hurriedly ran back home, but found no trace of Hee-sung at home. She felt very disheartened sitting on the sofa, thinking that Hee-sung had already left. At that moment, Hee-sung came out of the bathroom, saw Young Won had returned, and greeted her with a smile, exclaiming how she had grown into an adult. Asking how she had been over the years, Young Won still couldn't believe the reality before her eyes. Faced with Hee-sung's warmth, she felt a bit scared. Just as she wondered how Hee-sung's wounds had healed, the landlord came over demanding rent, pointing at Young Won and scolding her harshly, saying she hadn't paid rent for 3 months. How could a young person do this? He berated the landlord, spewed a string of cruel words. Hee-sung, standing by, couldn't bear to watch, but was stopped by Young Won. She apologized to the landlord with a placating smile, promising to pay up by the next week. Hee-sung was perplexed, wondering why she couldn't even afford the rent and had even racked up high interest debts. Young Won offered no explanation. Hae-sung reflected upon himself, feeling that he might have been too harsh earlier. Everyone has their difficult times, he thought. He bought 2 popsicles intending to apologize to Young Won, but saw her chatting and laughing with another man. He felt a pang of jealousy. Could that be Young Wan's boyfriend? After returning home, he apologized to Young Won, saying that seeing her felt like it had only been a day since they last met. Forgetting the 12-year gap in between, Young Won understood his feelings. Hae-sung then jokingly said about the day she asked him to fetch her wallet, wondering if she played a prank on him, insinuating there was no wallet to begin with, asking her to apologize. To his surprise, Yoon-won got extremely emotional, asking if he returned just to make her apologize. If so, she wanted him to leave, never wanting to see him again. Hae-sung was at a loss, wondering why Young-won reacted so strongly. By midnight, when Hae-sung noticed Young-won hadn't returned, he opened the door to search for her, only to bump into his younger brother there to collect debts. He was scared and ran away quickly. He accidentally fell. When going down the stairs, Hee-sung caught up with him. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed. He begged his brother to go back quickly. He dared not ask his girlfriend for debt anymore. Hae-sung questioned him. "Why have you become a thug now?" Young Jun angrily said, "It's all because you are a murderer. I became the brother of a murderer. A good family was torn apart because of this. Go away. Never show up again." After saying that, he ran away. But Hee-sung was very puzzled. Standing there, why had he become a murderer? He found Ho Bang to inquire about the facts. Ho Bang then told him, because the school bully died in the art room, everyone thought you were the murderer. Hee-sung asked if Yoon-won thought the same. Ho Bang explained to him, Yoon-won always felt that she had asked you to go to the art room, which led to your death. So she felt very guilty. She dropped out of school after your death and even avoided them. 3 years ago, when grandma passed away, a lot of money was spent on hospital aid. And all of it was paid by Young Won. The high-interest debt was also owed. Then, only then did Hae-sung realize that in the 12 years he was not around, Young Won had given up so much. He hurriedly ran home, found Young Won, and told her that his death had nothing to do with her. She didn't need to blame herself. And he was not a murderer either. Hearing Hae-sung say this, Young Won shed tears. The grievances of 12 years were finally released. He was so me. At night, Hae-sung wore Young Won's clothes. He was laughed at by others. Hee-sung looked at the clothes he was wearing and felt helpless. Then he helped Young Won pack her things. He accidentally flipped to a set of small clothes. He was frightened by the bright design. It was the first time he had seen such a thing in his life. Young Won quickly snatched it away, saying it was a gift from a friend. She had never worn it before. While packing other things, Hae-sung saw the beer can pull ring left from high school. He remembered skipping school in high school to accompany Young Won to find her mother in another city. But they found out that she had already started a new family. Young Won went up to greet her, but her mother pretended not to recognize her. Angry, Hee-sung threw a stone at her car. He was chased by the security for a day after being seen. That night, Young Won wanted to drink another can of beer. Hee-sung thought students shouldn't do this, but Young Won wanted to go herself. He had to take advantage of the shopkeeper dozing off, took a can of beer, left the money, and hurriedly ran away. The pull ring of the beer. He also used it as a ring and personally put it on Young Won's finger. He didn't expect that she had kept it till now. The next day, Hee-sung sent Young Won to work at the bus stop and unexpectedly found his younger brother nearby. He quickly followed him. He ran all the way to the end of the alley. He happened to bump into Ho Bang. He explained to Young Jun, "This is your real brother." Young Jun looked incredulously at Hee-sung. He slapped himself hard several times. He could feel the pain. It seems it's not a dream. Hee-sung asked his younger brother to take him to the gang leader. Then he gave them a fierce lesson. With a casual push of his hand, the two of them flew out tens of meters. He lifted the two up like picking up chicks and tossed them back and forth in the air for 2 hours. The two couldn't bear it any longer. They knelt on the ground and begged Hee-sung for forgiveness. Hae Sung asked Young Jun to come in. He told them in the future, they are not allowed to use violence to collect debts from Youngwon. And Young Jun also washed his hands of the gang. The two leaders could only nod quickly afterwards. Young Jun resented Heesing because he could no longer mingle in the underworld. Heesing patiently advised him, I will clear the title of a murderer and we'll find a way out together. But Young Jun scolded him for being too naive. Even I don't believe you. In your current state, who would believe you? After saying that, he prepared to leave. Ho Bang stopped him in time and invited him for a meal. During the meal, Ho Bang handed a cell phone to Heesing. It had the numbers of their old friends saved in it. Hae Sung asked Young Jun to save their siblings' numbers for him. But Young Jun said he didn't know. Heesing was very puzzled. We're all family. How can you not know their numbers? Young Jun explained. After the older brother got into medical school, he cut off contact with the family. The elder sister was busy with school and she didn't talk to us. After graduation, she went to Seoul to make money. The younger sister was sent to an orphanage. The family has long been dispersed. What can I do? Hae Sung was very angry. The family I used to take care of. How did it become like this? Meanwhile, the older brother was in the hospital flirting with the dean's daughter. He kept telling his future mother-in-law that he was an only child with no siblings. At that moment, a nurse informed him that a high school boy named Heesing was visiting. The boy's name was Heesing. He was very surprised after hearing this. Before he could refuse, Hae Sung pushed the door and came in. Seeing him in person made him even more surprised. Seeing that both his mother-in-law and girlfriend were staring at him, he hastily claimed he didn't know him. He asked the nurse to kick Heesing out. Hae Sung didn't want to leave and wanted to talk to his brother. But he was forcibly removed by the called security guards. Heesing was very angry. With a swing of his hand, he sent the two security guards flying. This scene left the older brother stunned. Another guard pointed a gun at Heesing. Without even looking, he slapped the guard away with a single blow. Hae Sung really wanted to ask his brother what was going on. But he was stopped by a stranger, an old man. Heesing was still furious and he wanted to use his usual technique to throw the man off using all his strength. But the old man didn't budge. At that moment, he recognized the man's face and remembered him from the bus the day before. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe the channel for more videos like these.